There we go. The curtain literally goes up because I changed the transition. Hello, my name is Kevin. This is Dirty 20 Gaming. This Friday, all these people here look frightened, so it must be new. Even the one that you can't see sounds frightened, so that's good. Oh, anyway, and it is FunShot Fridays. Tonight we are playing another wonderful game by Grant Howitt. You magnificent bastard. I looked today, we've got 15 of these on YouTube and a couple that I screwed up the recording process and so they're not there. So we're coming up on 20 episodes of this foolishness. And there's never been one that wasn't an absolute blast. So thank you very much to Grant for that. I appreciate the heck out of that. Tonight, we're playing Ghost Crashers. These three wonderful people are going to be playing ghosts. They don't know. They have names already, but they do not know what kind of ghosts they're going to be. We're going to get to that in a minute. And they are going to a Christmas party for various reasons, each of which will have their own reasons for doing so. But the real point of this isn't about these three. It's about those bosses that have Christmas parties in November, right? Because the room's cheaper to rent and the food's cheaper. And like, who wants to go to the Christmas party on Friday the 13th of November? So you guys are like nature's way of making up for that idiot. So with no further ado, let's create some characters and then I'll explain the rules. Dax, not only did we not do a duck, there is, as you can see, there's an empty square over here. So we had a duck-related issue. So yes, you're absolutely right. We failed to duck. Anybody who doesn't know about that, go back and watch all the other episodes. So who wants to figure out who they are first? They've got names already, but let's see. You all look so shy. Robin, you go.
Okay.
Jelly, what kind of ghost is Jelly? Go ahead and hit us that button. So, and start writing this down because this is important. You are that rarest of ghosts, the 80s ghost. It says here good at skateboard tricks. I also insist on a mullet. You died by...
I can't help you with that.
You died by electrocution.
Oof.
You like to possess people because what self-respecting 80s ghost doesn't. And you are going to this party. This also makes perfect sense for an 80s ghost. You got big hair too, by the way. Like there's like the huge hair. Drink lots of fizzy wine is your goal. So we're going to use this as an example for me to explain all the rule. And yes, there is only one. When you try to do anything in this game, you roll, always roll at least 2d6. If in this case, because of who you are, you can figure out how to do a skateboard trick and work that into the action, you add 2 more dice. If you figure out how to do a skateboard trick and electrocute somebody in the process, that's 4 more dice. And if you can do all of that while possessing people, that's 6 more dice. So I get to roll against that, but we'll get to that in a little while. Let's create these other 2 characters first. Vil, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
For anybody who's watching, I first played with this guy over 2 years ago, but the first time I saw his face was about 45 minutes ago. So go ahead and click that button.
All right.
Tony Hawk is getting possessed. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, I like this. Oh, this makes perfect. Yeah, look at this. You are the ghost of a headless royal. So you are excellent at demanding obedience from people. How you do that without a head, I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. You died as a result of a duel, so you work that in anywhere you can. You like to scare people, which being a headless royal duelist is probably fairly simple to do. And you, see, heart of gold. You're here to steal canapes for your mom, ghost. You may or may not know what canapes are.
Loving son.
Nope.
Finger food. Food on
which makes sense
food
for
on
a
toothpicks.
royal.
Yeah, food on toothpicks. Well, a royal with no head, though. You just
It's for his mom, though.
Oh, teeny weenies, you mean?
Yes, teeny weenies.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the correct technical term. Well, now you've spoken out loud, H's.
Oh, no.
Go ahead and give us a character. That tonight I am a. Oh, more electrocution. That's what I see.
Ooh.
You are a classic ghost. You are the sheet and chains ghost. So you are very good at spooky noises. You died by electrocution. Possibly those metallic chains got in the wrong place. I don't know, maybe you had chains before you died. You like to throw stuff around, so technically you are a poltergeist. And you are here to eat cake.
Yay! My favorite.
Hello, Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, no doubt. So, with that, I have one more rule to explain. So we explained how you guys can get up to 8 dice. In this game, I actually get to roll. A lot of Grant's games, the GM doesn't ever get to roll anything. So I actually get to roll tonight. I get to oppose your successes. You roll all those mittfuls of dice that we talked about, and anything that's a 4, 5, or a 6 counts as a success. I roll from this little box down here in the corner of the screen called the Chaos Pool. And every time you guys do something to make this party a little crazier, I add a die to that. And that's my pool that I get to use every time to resist everything that you guys do. Except that once per game, each of you can party hard. And what that means is you roll all the dice that you can think of, plus all my dice from the Chaos Pool. And then I take away all my dice from the Chaos Pool except for 2. So you guys could potentially be rolling 12 or 14 dice each tonight. So with that, let's set up this story. The 3 of you are cheeky little ghosts. You love to party. The problem is the only party being held tonight, this Friday the 13th, is a Christmas party full of meatbags. The living. And they, you know from previous experience, they don't want ghosts at their party because they're sure you're going to ruin it. Whatever that means. But to hell with them. You're going to get inside by any means necessary, and you are going to have the bestest of possible times. This is going to happen because you have a friendly wizard friend who, as a present for the 13th, Friday the 13th, has made you temporarily corporeal. So you can touch stuff and touch people and do things. Unfortunately, it means you also have to use doors and stairs. You can't just float through the walls anymore.
Dang it.
So with that, the 3 of you are clumsily walking up the street because you're all used to floating. So, and let's just...
I'm not walking, I'm skateboarding.
Yes, you're skating, absolutely, silently because you're a ghost and the wheels don't actually touch the ground. So yes, you have our 80s ghost roller skating. We have our... shoot, who was everybody else here? I've already forgotten. Oh, yes,
a headless
Royal,
ghost.
right? Headless Royal, that's the one we need to know. So yeah, just like, and you're corporeal again, so you're starting to ooze. Like it's getting all over. You've been dead for it's been a long time since they decapitated a royal. So if you had a nose, this would be bad. It's ugly. But that is, let's be fair, nothing compared to our classic sheet and chains ghost, because they just look like the world's worst Halloween outfit right now. They look like a person with a sheet and chains. And that's it. And this is a Christmas party. As you guys approach the back of the hotel that this party is happening in, I mean, they booked a room at a hotel. It's the middle of the afternoon. They didn't even turn off the lights. It's bright in there. There's a table of crappy cold cuts and cheese and a coffee urn that you know they made yesterday. You remember all this from when you were alive. And a bunch of people just milling around. Oh, hello, Dead Aussie Gamer and friends. We've been rated all over the place. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. And somebody said again and again in French. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, back to this game. That is what you see. There is a fire door that's been propped open, because they're always propped open because these places always get too hot with all these people in them. There is a large, upset-looking man standing just outside this fire door, smoking and leaning against the wall. So, you hear horrible music from inside. You realize whoever threw this party is so cheap, they're playing music, because they're not going to pay a DJ. It's horrible. Anyway, this is what they get. You guys bring the mayhem. How do you get past this wonderful first encounter.
Is the music just on repeat?
It is. Yeah, it's that song that you go, is this? No. But no. It is just a generic song that sounds like every song you've ever heard, and yes, it's on endless loop.
Oh,
Mr.
man.
DM, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Given that you mentioned I was headless in my ghost form, and now that I'm corporeal, that I do have a head again, but I seem to be leaking. Yes.
Yes. There's a there's a line all the way around that is oozing. Yeah.
Would
right in your rough.
Would it be within my purview to maybe perhaps occasionally remove my head?
Oh,
or does it have to
absolutely.
stay on my neck?
Yes.
Okay.
This is
All
okay.
right.
We can
I
tell
was
you're new.
hoping so.
I say yes to everything in these. So yeah, absolutely. Pop that sucker off. It's it's on a quick release as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
So yes. So I sense the seed of an idea. Go ahead and tell me what you're doing with this.
So this fine fella standing at the door, I'm gonna go and approach him. I'll walk up. I'm gonna, maybe stumble a little bit. It's been a long time since I've had legs.
Yep.
And looked at this fine fellow. Hello, good sir. I bid you welcome. Would you perhaps be able to grant me passage into this establishment?
You asked, you didn't demand, so only roll 2 dice for me.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
Well, he
roll
hasn't
2 dice.
disobeyed yet.
No. 1 and 1. So okay. He looks back at you and says, "First, that's a door, man. Second, you talk funny. And 3, go ahead, it's not my party."
I see. Thank you, then. And then I grab his face and push him off to the side.
Hey! And he lands on the ground, looks up, and you hear, "There's nothing under that sheet." And you realize that they're on their back looking up. Pardon my French, but they're looking up potatoes. If it was a skirt,
Rude.
this is what they'd be
Take
looking
a
at.
lady out for dinner
luckily,
first.
but luckily, you cease to exist at about the knees. So they're literally like, "Hey, there's nothing up there," means the sheet is empty.
Well, given how you are, not up on the ground either, I don't think you have any legs to stand on as well. And be quiet.
Give me 4d6 this time.
So do a thing and add 4 dice.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry. Do a thing and add 2 dice. Sorry. 4 total.
My
No, you did
mistake.
6. We'll do that. That's fine. I'll just roll this. 4 against 3 is. What was the exact wording of your order?
I think it's be quiet.
Be quiet.
Yeah.
From the ground. Sir. Oh, sorry, sir. Shh.
Oh, okay.
And as you guys are heading inside, he's laying on the ground going shh, 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 to everything around him.
And as we enter, after the other ones go in, I'd like to do one of those things where like you enter through the doorway and then you kind of lean out for that second look. But instead of that, I'd just like to take my head off and just do the head.
When Potato walks, it's like someone took one of those wacky arm flailing guys from car stores and put it on a Roomba. So their upper half is flopping as they walk, but the chains are like wiggling behind them.
Oh, perfect.
I love it. I
Yep.
love it.
This is excellent. You are no
Jelly skateboard's in, but the skateboard isn't corporeal, just Jelly.
you.
So
Yeah,
it's
so you're
still
on
a
this-
ghost board.
That's just
Hoverboard.
3 of you. There's no need to roll. That's a whole bunch. It's 4 and 4 and 6. That's a whole bunch. You hear from outside, "Nope, I'm out." And as you stick your head back out the door, he's crawling down the alley, heading for the parking lot. He's gone. You guys step in. They notice. We're going to do 1 die for the headless royal, who's now standing there with no head on, with his head out in the alley. We're going to do 1 die for the Roomba ghost. And we are Oh yeah, why not? I don't want to leave. I don't want anybody to feel left out. Everybody gets one. So the chaos pool is now up to 5. As you guys walk in, everything stops except the music. And just that crappy music going on in the back. Everybody just, like you can hear their neck muscles creaking as they turn to look at the 3 of you.
When Potato stops, their head lolls forward, lolls back, and kind of wobbles to stand straight.
Well,
Oh,
this party is bogus.
It's not a Halloween party. What do you mean, shut up?
I go in and place my head back on, you know, kind of give it a little and why are you all just standing there? Get back to the party and someone show me where the appetizers are.
Yep. Give me 6. Oh, you finish your sentence and are hit in the chest and face with a silver tray covered in canapes and caviar on a cracker, and it all just goes and falls on the ground in front of you.
Who threw that? I demand a jewel! As I casually reach down and pick them up and place them in a pocket.
That is do a thing with 6 dice. We're up to 3 now. Let's just escalate the hell out of this.
Amazing.
I got 4.
So do a thing, add 4 or
6.
6?
Let's go nuts.
Add 6?
Let's just
okay.
6.
Nice.
Look at all those
Holy
6s.
cow.
Holy
Damn.
crap. You suddenly find yourself with a retinue. This is just like the good old days. There are people bringing you drinks. There are people bringing you food. They're pushing chairs under the back of your knees. They're stacking chairs to try to make a throne, begging you to tell them what to do next.
I am as a former royal, I am indulging in this for the moment.
Oh yes, absolutely. The other 2. What are you guys doing?
Jelly.
Oh, no,
sorry.
you're going ahead. Go ahead.
Actually,
Jelly
let's do Jelly
is-
first because I got an idea.
Okay, she's snapping her gum. I just imagined this like big haired denim.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Just all denim.
Precisely.
And she's looking around. Hey, where's the drinks?
And no one listens to you because they're all servicing the king over here. But because of that, you can see against the far wall, it's not so much a bar as it appears to be a vending machine. You know those old pop machines where you used to look at the top of the bottle? Like you'd look at the bottle cap and you grabbed them and pulled them out? It's like that, but they're all like beer and coolers mostly.
Wow.
Grody.
You're speaking of wow, Potato, your head's wobbling around, and at one moment you kind of head tilts back and you look straight up, and one of the tiles in the roof of this building just goes and slides off to the side, and you look up and you see somebody spread eagled in this very complex harness come through the ceiling, and you hear, "Oh shit, wrong room."
I want to throw one of the fallen canopies at it.
Absolutely, go ahead. Does that use any of your special abilities?
I like to throw stuff.
That's okay. So that's +2. Do a thing and add 2 dice. And remember, at any point tonight, you guys can party hard and add all 5 of those dice that I'm now going to use against you. 3 successes. Let's see how I do. 2 successes. It works. You with one flailing arm, it looks like an accident, and fling off the table goes one of these pieces of food, flips up towards the ceiling, and this person, just before they're about to go out of the room, goes, "Oh, I am a little peckish," and reaches out to grab it, and it screws up their balance, and they start tumbling in their harness. So they're now just below the ceiling going flip, 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 flip. You're the only one that's noticed so far.
Is there anyone
Backlund.
by the vending machine?
Right at the moment, there's... Yes, there is. There's 2 people. One of them appears to be from the party. Maybe they didn't hear the king when they were being ordered about. But they're over here with trying to count through some change in their hand, trying to see if they've got enough for a drink. There's also a kid. Well, at first you think it's a kid, and you realize it's just a really small person because they have to be over 18 or I'm going to get in trouble. So there's somebody's child has come with them. They are of the age of majority, but just barely. And they've got their arm inside the machine. They're trying to steal drinks as you walk up.
I'd like to possess one of them.
Which one?
The kid.
Okay, so that's 2 for doing a thing, 2 for possessing them. Anything else you can add to that?
Yeah, I'm gonna employ the how I died through electrocution.
So that's, yeah, that works. Do a thing and add 6 dice.
Um,
Ooh, wow, you see that? That was supposed to happen. I rolled 2 1s and 3 2s. So, you skateboard up and just like step off the skateboard and just step into their body. Just ooze in. You do this all the time. As you do so, they kind of go, ah! Their hand goes up into the machine, touching the wires. Horrible backflash for you because you've just been electrocuted to death again. You have now possessed the dead body of a young person. On the bright side, the beer and the ciders inside from the heat of all this electricity have started to pop and boil. So there is drink running down your arm and off your elbow. So, oh, so hard to get your tongue to your elbow. It's really hard to do.
Well, he's dead. I can pull my arm out.
You go to pull your arm out and it comes off at the elbow.
Oh.
You now possess most of an 18-year-old. Cut away from that for a moment. On the other side of the room, King, you're like they are fawning. Like they're reaching out, trying to shove food in your mouth at this point. One of them actually pushes and your chin starts to lift up like your head's about to fall off going backwards.
I will kind of go in, and you know what? I like to scare people, and I'm going to let him go and push my head off.
So you're eating, and you're just and the head goes back and off, and you can feel there's like your throat is still sort of working on something. Like it's kind of like watching a snake trying to get something that's a little too big, but it's got no teeth, so it can't quite. And it's making the noise as you breathe around it while it's doing it. So you do a thing and add 4 dice.
I kind of wanted to add to that.
Yes, please do. Yes.
I am able to make scary noises. Can I start making a really creepy children's song playing in the background when his head falls
Absolutely, you
off?
can. So you roll 2, and Sebastian rolls all of those, and I'm going to roll the 5 against both of you combined. So that's 3 plus 2. It's 5 versus my 2. Well, you'd think I didn't have 5 dice in this pool. You at the same time. Things go pear-shaped in a hurry. They're trying to get away from 2 different places at once, and they're sort of meeting in the middle of this room and slamming together, and then pinwheeling down into that comes this guy all dressed in black and chasing his canopy. So he's just like, wait, and it's right down into the middle of it, feet and arms flailing in every direction. And that's all right in the middle of the room. You look off to the side, and there's an arm inside a machine still trying to steal beer, while your new compatriot is sitting in front of it looking down at a hand that isn't there anymore.
Oh no, I've ditched the body.
Oh, so as you look, the body just goes dead on the floor, blood gushing out of the elbow, blood gushing out of the machine, along with all the beer. And your incorporeal, now corporeal again friend is back on their skateboard.
Oh, I'm loving this so much.
And yes, Bison, you are correct. What am I doing? Many more dice over here. That's like 1 for each round. Let's just do that. There. I'm now rolling 8 dice. So, thank you.
All I can see is that ghost.
So just the one in the middle, peek it out. So frightening. So you're the one that's the least engaged in stuff right now. So Jelly, you're looking around this room. There's a whole bunch of people right in the middle. The liquor source appears to be gone. I mean, there's drinks everywhere. There's beer all over the place, and
Yeah, but it's not what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for fizzy wine.
Yes, you are. You see, you mentioned it, you see in this mayhem of all these people crushed together in the middle, the staff are slightly smarter than most of the people at the party, which is fairly normal. Most of them haven't been drinking as much as the people at the party, although they work in the hotel industry, so they've probably been drinking. But they flee. You can see them heading through these doors out into the rest of the hotel. I'm willing to split parties even in a fun shot.
And there's a guy doing pinwheels, and then everyone else freaking out around Sebastian.
There's just this thrashing mass of humanity in the middle of the room, drunken humanity in the middle of the room. You see,
have the two by the vending machine reacted to the child that's dead?
Well, the one has, the other one, well, yes, one is kind of like pulling the child and kind of shaking them, and like they're in denial. The other one is on his knees with his face drinking the combination of blood and beer that's coming out of the machine.
Oh, that's desperation at its finest.
I wasn't going to go there, but you asked. Yeah,
no, I'm gonna.
There's no wine in this room for sure.
I have two things to ask.
Yep. I'm just gonna
quickly find out. I am able to possess people, yeah or no?
Oh yeah, you can all do it. It's just that's what they're good. That's what they're
okay.
Good. You won't get any extra dice if you do.
Do I see a lady or a guy with a very large purse? Like you could fit a lot of stuff in that.
Oh yes, absolutely. Some of these ladies have got very large.
I want to possess the one with the biggest purse.
Okay, I'm glad you said purse. So you attempt to. So give me. I'm not even gonna roll against it. You possess her. You've got her. Jelly. You.
I'll possess one of the hotel staff.
Okay, so you skateboard across the room and just into one of the hotel staff, kind of knocking them through the door. As you step out into you're now in one of those big, wide, brightly lit hallways in hotels. You are an 80s skateboard kid, and out here, maybe the spell's wearing off a little bit, but you look down like the light goes through you. You're very clearly a ghost out here. And if you needed any proof, they're screaming around you as you look both directions, and people are just backing away. Because while you've possessed somebody, they can see you through them. So there's this busboy like, help me, help me, help me. And you keep peeking out through his eyes, and like an arm comes out and then goes back in. And I'm not even making you roll for this. Let's just go. I don't care.
And it's just a hallway.
Yes. There's this hallway all around you. There's people running in all directions. Right across from you, though, you hear like chamber music. And it's much nicer doors. You kind of look at the doors you just came through, and they're just kind of hotel doors. The ones across is like double doors. They got fancy brass handles. That's the expensive room. Like, this jerk didn't even rent the good room. There's a very fancy party going on just behind this other door.
I look at that and think, Sebastian would love this. And move back to go back in the room.
Go back and get Sebastian. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So back inside the room, Sebastian, they are now, your peasants are fleeing. Your peasants are revolting. Yes, sir, but they're the only ones we've got. What do you do?
Unfortunately, my subjects have gone and started to flee.
Yes.
So I am going to go and reach down and pick up my head, which they knocked off,
yes,
place it
bastards.
back on my throat, and
you have to kind of take the sausage out, put the head on, and then feed the sausage back to your mouth.
Yeah. We're gonna go and pick up that platter that they had, and anything that's left on the ground, I'm gonna kind of sort it and put it on the platter, and kind of look around. As I look around, do I see this fella dangling from the ceiling?
Absolutely, yeah. You see not only him, but you look up and there's two people. Like one of them's working at a ratchet, but it's clearly broken, and the other one's kind of got their feet braced. They're trying to pull on the wire to get their friend back up. They're all dressed in black. They've all got tactical gear on and flashlights and everything else.
Looking over this fine fella, who's dangling from the ceiling, and the others above him. Who would you be? Speak quickly.
And he and comes to a stop upside down facing you, like that Spider-Man scene. I'm gonna be sick.
I am going to go and take this fella and kindly turn him slightly to the left.
So you've got the canapes and all these like trodden on canapes on a tray, and you just reach out and very casually just whereupon he does what he said he was going to do. And when he finishes, you turn him back.
Yep.
My name's Rick.
What are you doing here, Rick? And who are those fellas up there?
I think I was rolling. I just made a Rick roll joke.
Hey.
Very well, good sir. Why were you trying to sneak into such an establishment?
We weren't going into here. We went in the wrong room.
I see. I'm also going to explain the fact that my larynx has been cut why I'm keep skipping or keep switching accents.
You haven't talked in a very long time.
He's upside down and just got ill, so he doesn't recognize it. Yeah. We're here to steal. We're here to steal the jewels.
I look at him right in the eye. I get really close to him. What jewels?
And at that moment, up in the rafters, the guy slips, and instead of going face to face, he goes boink, 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 and you're now basically looking at his hips. And from at about the height of your hips, he says, "The royal jewels."
Not the royal jewels that I was thinking of. And I kindly...
He comes back up until he's looking at you again.
In the background, Potato's emptying the purse on the ground and grabbing any cake or cupcake that's on like the snack table and shoving it into the purse.
We'll get to you in just a second. Yeah, I just want to finish this one up.
I would actually like to take a moment to kind of look around, and I know that most people have been fleeing. Is there anybody sticking around that is witnessing this?
There's in particular, there's a group of 3 men who look like they're in suits for the very first time. You suspect that they are the husbands of people who must work here, and they're not comfortable here. But what they've done is taken this opportunity to go over to the food table, and they're just blatantly shoveling cold cuts and cheese into bags, and they're just filling up food to take with them.
Okay, peasantry is pretty much the same in all areas.
They're always the same. Free food, gotta go. Yeah, yeah. So we'll cut away from you for a second. Yeah. Okay. So in the scrum, in the middle of all of this, you're in there just hauling stuff out of this purse. This is a Christmas party, after all. A lot of things have happened, but it's still a Christmas party, and some people have still had too much to drink. So you witness around you. It doesn't happen to you directly, but you witness around the occasional hand that sort of accidentally lands in the wrong place. You see an attempted kiss that is viciously rebuffed by a finger up the nose, and you're just hauling stuff out of this purse.
I'm flinging him over my shoulder, just tossing everything willy-nilly.
There's this pile of people and just all the contents of a purse just flying up into the air from the middle of it. So, lipstick, compact. Yeah. I'll stop there.
Good.
And Jelly will come in the room again now and go,
perfect.
Yo, fancy boy. She'll try to get Sebastian's attention. Yo.
What is it you want?
There's an even fancier party going on down there.
Oh. Don't have to deal with these peasants anymore. And I will go and
boink,
with
boink,
my
boink.
fancy
I resent
plate.
That. As they reel him back into the ceiling.
I will go with my fancy plate in hand, and as I'm walking away, I'll kind of take my other hand and turn my head around and look at this guy hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. It's just across the hall then, is it? Is that where it is? Just as he's getting back up into the ceiling, and then you watch the panel come back over and settle down.
Before he completely leaves, I'm walking by and I gently shove a cupcake into the guy's mouth and follow the other.
Just as he's about, so we'll retcon that a little bit. Just before he disappears, the sheet with the chains behind it, clang, 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 clang across the room. Oh no, you're
Really
possessing.
Bob Marley.
You're possessing somebody right now.
I'm possessing a lady with a very large, fancy purse.
Right. So you come across the room as that, and it just shove this cupcake in his mouth, and then he gets reeled up into the ceiling. At this moment, for comedic purposes, the body falls off. You're just standing there, and then she just kind of you lose concentration for a second, and she just falls to the ground and swoons.
I take the purse still.
I've been possessed. Thief. Oh, and then she faints. But nobody's listening. So you got the purse full of stuff. Yeah. Is there anything specific you were looking for in the purse?
I was mostly emptying out to put as many pastries in the purse.
Okay, yeah. So you're over there with the guys at the table. They kind of give you the look like, yeah, you got this.
And as I'm passing the now unconscious lady, I'm just going to look down at her, take out a particularly mushed cupcake, gently put it on her forehead, pat her on the cheek, and leave.
And she's going to wake up thinking she's had too much to drink. And with that, the three of you step out into the hallway of this hotel again. There are these weird flashing red and blue lights down by the lobby. And there's this sound outside. And it's getting louder. Some of you might know what that, the one from the 80s probably knows. Yeah. The other two might not.
What is that sound? What are those lights flashing? Speak quickly.
That would be the party killers.
I mean, the party already looked pretty dead to me, but...
I'm going to wrap my wrists in chains and hold them up like handcuffs.
And she's still possessing the wait busboy, so...
Yes, you are, yeah.
Can we open the doors to the next party?
Yeah, absolutely. You open the doors to the party. This is a wedding. Like I don't mean like this is the after party. This isn't the reception. That's the word I was looking for. This isn't the reception. This is an actual active wedding going on in front of you.
Oh,
and it's not just a wedding. This is obviously, one of you recognizes this immediately. This is what happens when low-level royals get married. They can't afford to rent the palace, but they do rent the best room in the best hotel in town. This is from your brilliant eye scans the room and immediately puts everybody into the correct class. This is like a baronet. It's her wedding, and yeah, there are many very fancy jewels on and about her person. They are in the middle of the ceremony, so the two that are being married are right at the front. The priest is facing you. As you walk in, he looks up and just eyes snap back down. He starts reading faster.
Is there an obvious reception area?
There's rows of pews. Like they've turned this into a faux church, right?
Well, but is there like a doorway to a reception area?
Oh yeah. There's a door off to the side that you think must go somewhere like that. Yeah. We should probably roll some dice pretty soon.
As I looked around the room, usually at some weddings and stuff they'll have obviously the bride and groom's name on it. Yeah. As I look at there, do the names maybe seem familiar? Maybe many generations later.
Yes. In fact, it's one of those like 7-part last names. The Smith, Smythe, Jones. Yeah, you're the fifth word. Like you're the fifth name. So it's a ways back, but this is definitely related. And in fact, you look up and damned if those aren't your wife's jewels that this upstart is wearing.
Scandal.
I'm going to hold off for a moment because if you're going to do anything, dramatic, you have to wait until the last moment to do so.
Yes. Yep.
And as I scrounge around, I am here for a mission. I need to acquire more like finger foods.
Yes. And the stuff in this room is much nicer than the stuff in the other room was.
As I go in and listen to the priest babble away, I'll kind of go and make my way over to one of the tables that have the little, finger foods on them, and with my tray kind of just see what they got.
Yeah.
already know what I want to do, and I'm looking at this ceremony. I'm just going to take one of the cupcakes out and try and throw it at the priest.
Yeah, absolutely. That's throwing stuff. Okay, that's good because he reminded me. Let's roll some dice. So that's throwing stuff. What other abilities of yours does that entail?
Cake.
Cake. Yep, that absolutely includes cake. So we're gonna do that. So that's 4 extra, and I'm actually deleting because you guys have left. This is a new room, so you're only at a panic level of 5 in this room. But
So
in
it's
a
do
purely
thing +4?
mechanical statement here, we got like 45 minutes left and nobody's partied hard yet, so anyway. So yes, you step in and yeah, what do you hurl at? Sorry, at who? The priest?
I want to throw it at the priest.
Absolutely. Give me add 4 dice.
Okay.
I've got 5.
Oh
no.
You hurl it at the priest and it's going right down the middle of the aisle, but it's poor quality cake and it separates into a top and bottom layer and starts to tumble. And one in the back of each head on the groom and the bride.
In the background, you see Potato in his arm shield, like, score.
And as you say that, you hear just off to your right, where they got all the kids sort of stuffed at the back here, and you hear a couple of snorts and giggles, and you feel like a little tug on your sheet. And you look down and there's this little kid about 6 years old looking up at you, and he's got like cake all over his face from when he was eating early, and he just goes.
I want to hold my fist out for a fist bump.
Very, get that thing, like kids when they really, really focus because they're being an adult, right? Yeah. He gives you the fist bump for sure.
A sheet fist bump.
Yeah. From the sheet. Meanwhile, we're gonna work back to the king because I suspect there's a big finish coming. Jelly. Splat splat on the back of their heads. The heads are starting to turn. This is about to get horrible.
Still inside the waiter.
Yep.
That's a weird sentence. Kind of like jaggedly moving.
Yep.
Looking for wine.
Yep. Okay.
That's what I'm here for.
Oh.
Is this a Catholic ceremony?
Well, that's one. This is why I went quiet because I decided where do I want to go with this. Let's stay safe and not have anybody declare any horrible things that should happen to me. Let's say there is, but that's all the way at the other end of the room, up by the altar.
It's in front of the people. I don't want them to see me yet.
What there is though is you see a little door. It's not even like a full-size door. It's a little tiny door. It's only about 4 feet tall, maybe this wide, and it opens just this little bit, and this little wizened old face comes out and then closes again. But you could not help but smell a wine cellar.
Yeah, that's where I want to go.
So you pull open the door, and the little dude's sitting halfway up the stairs, and he's got this dusty bottle of wine in his hand, and he just... 50 years old, want a shot?
Absolutely. And
so
got wine.
So you and this wizened little dude sit on the stairs, and you look, as you sit down, you can see out into this room. There are thousands of bottles of wine down here. They're all covered in dust. There's sections, like there's red wines over here, there's white wines over here. They're dated. There's a log halfway down the stairs, all taken care of.
Excellent.
And you looked again, and about every 20th bottle, there's no cork on it. And you kind of bend down and look underneath the racks. There's just empties as far as the eye can see. This little dude sitting on the stairs. Just, no glasses or nothing, just handing this like $1,000 bottle of wine back and forth.
She's cool with it.
Wine cellar
and she's kind of like keeping an eye on the party also.
Yeah.
Behind.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he reaches out and says, almost nobody can see that door, and just pushes it open. So you guys are sitting on the stairs, and he just reaches down and pulls up another bottle. Ping! off into the distance, and you guys just sitting on the top step watching the mayhem. Speaking of mayhem, that's your great up there, wearing your wife's jewels like she deserves them. Like, there's 4 other names before yours in her. Like, what do you do, Your Highness?
Well, first, you know, you have to go and make sure that the food at least is up to quality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doubting with so many, you know, names before mine, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So I go over to the table and I grab the little finger food and I kind of disdainfully look at it, but I place it on the tray.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go and start making my way up the aisle.
Mm-hmm. And people are like, oh. And you hear one voice say, "It kind of looks like the bride." You, ow!
I turn to that fellow and kind of give him a glare of disdain, but I continue on.
Where his wife has elbowed him to be silent.
I
in my head, only your head turned, like your body stayed here. And I don't mean the neck turned. I mean the neck stayed here and the head just turned and looked at him and then turned back. Sorry, I like to add stuff on these.
I actually don't think I've turned my head back around from when I left the room.
So it's looking in completely the wrong direction. As you head up the aisle, the flower girl looks up and just goes, "Ah!" and shrieking down the aisle behind you.
May I take the basket of flowers that she's carrying?
Absolutely. As she runs past, you just blink right out of her hand. Yeah.
Okay. I will continue up towards the aisle, and when I get there and I see the bride and the groom, real quickly, it is the bride that is from my family, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. I'll take a measure of the groom. This is a man who looks fit for marrying in my family. I don't think he does.
This is a man who looks like he works for a living.
Ooh, that's not good.
He's only got one last name, and it's like Farnsworth.
Yeah. I will go and approach this fine fella and turn my head around so I can stare directly at him. I don't want to be looking away. And what do you think you're doing? Do you think you're fit to marry into a descendant of Sebastian von Sebastian?
Look, mate, I'm trying to get married here. And he rears back and he's about to take a swing at your face.
I would like to go and take the basket of flower girl flowers and toss that at him. While doing that, I would also like to take the tray of treats, pass it off to the bride for a second.
Ashley, and you can tell at some point in her life she's been a waiter. She just took that way too easy. Maybe your family's not doing as well as they used to.
And as I throw the flowers at him, I challenge you to a duel, good sir. Stand there or be struck down.
Okay, so that's 6. Would you like to do anything else with that?
I would like to see his reaction first.
Okay. And he just throws the punch. So you can see it coming. You still have time
now
to
that
react.
my hands are free,
Yes.
he's probably trying to punch me in the face, yeah?
Oh, yes. Yep.
I would like to take my head off and just move it out of the way.
He punches through and you put it back down. I'm going to give you, I want to see how well this works. I am going to give you the chaos pool on this one. So give me, do a thing and, oh my God. Yeah, party hard. And you've got 6 for what you were doing plus the 5 that are there. So 11 dice. And I don't get to resist.
So click party hard.
Yeah. And it'll ask you how many dice. And
You said 11?
11, yeah. And I restocked this with 2.
How many of your dice? 11? And it says how many chaos dice?
Oh, sorry. How many of just do 0 then, because it was 6 and 5, so it adds up to 11.
0. Okay.
6 successes. You, foop, foop, foop. He looks at you again, looks at his fist, looks at his wife-to-be. I don't believe nothing no more, and my accent's changing too. And he starts to back away from you and into the priest.
Well, I've thrown the gauntlet down,
Oh, yes,
and he has
right.
thrown a punch, so the duel is on.
The duel is on. Oh, yes, and that was, let's do our 6 successes with that then, yeah. Well, 6 successes. Which 6 places on this working stiff's body do you proceed to make large royal holes?
Well, you know, he seems to think that he's worthy of marrying in my family, and being the peasant that he is, he's only worth working the ground. So I must remove his ability to stand among those who are worthy of standing. So right. I would like to use 2 of my hits on both his knees, please.
Oh, so just... And it's like you're knighting somebody. Like, there's just no effort to it. It's just you're so much better than him. Your quality is what's cutting him. It's not even your blade, right? And he does that thing where he's kind of standing there and he's starting to slide off of his knees.
I, if possible, would like to go and someone has sullied my great granddaughter with a cupcake, and I would like to take the cupcake that is stuck on the back of her head, kind of take it and smear it onto this guy's face.
As you do, you reach up and pull the cupcake off the back of your offspring's offspring, and you look down, and it becomes immediately obvious that the young lady in question is rather pregnant. And you turn around with the handful of cake, looking at this guy slowly sliding off of his own knees. You still have 4 impacts left.
Well, I must throw the cupcake at him to blind him for what's to come.
Yep, so in one eye.
And what many people don't know, my descendants don't know, is the reason how I died in this duel was the person I was facing against. He was a slimy, brigand, and he took away my attention by going and having some foul person shoot an arrow at myself in a certain region. And it seems only fitting that given that's how I died, I must pass along this curse. So
and conveniently, you have 3 strikes left. Yeah.
As I throw the cupcake, I would like to forcefully tilt my head forward and scream at him. And as my head's falling, I would like to rear back with my foot and kick my head right into his groin and bite down.
Hardest part of the human body is right there. So yeah, you drop kick your head directly into his junk. And you had 3 attacks left. Anybody with cover your ears. You hear 3 distinct popping sounds and a scream. As he hits the floor. He is done. The other 2 of you look up to see your maniac king. Maybe he was killed for a reason. This guy's a little nuts. Up there just having destroyed the groom-to-be. Yep. The room is starting to rise up around you. Yeah.
Once the room goes silent, like there's a
there's going to be a moment. Yeah.
Once there's a silent pause, you suddenly hear from Potato, the European announcers go, "Goal!" from Potato.
This is why we can't have nice things.
And at that moment, one of the ceiling tiles moves. It moves off to the side. And the same guy comes down, wiping his chin. He comes down directly above the princess. The king is distracted. 2 of you. Yep. Yes. Potato.
And we see this?
Yes. You're standing there. People are starting to head around you. Somebody says, is that a Roomba?
What is the hardest object around me?
The priest.
I'm still at the other end of the aisle, though.
Jelly's gonna go down to the
I couldn't
cellar
help
and grab
myself.
as many
He's
bottles
a
in
seriously
her
buff
arms.
priest.
Jelly's gonna grab as many of the filled bottles from the cellar as
Yep.
she can and go back up.
Can I take one of those bottles, neck first, and chuck it at the guy coming down from the ceiling?
Absolutely. Good. Jelly perfectly named wobbles up the stairs after many, many glasses of fine wine with no glasses and lots of wine. And just bling, bling, and there's bottles falling to the left and right. You don't even have to take one; just pick one up off the ground.
She's ditched the guy she possessed long ago.
He's actually, well, you think you've ditched him. He's right behind you. Everybody else can see. He's got a piece of paper and a pen, and he's trying to get your number. Hey! We should.
I imagine he's just as drunk.
Oh yeah, he's been drunk for, like, as far as you can tell, 50 years. This guy lives down there. It was thousands.
No, I meant
of
the
empties
body
in the
she.
basement.
I meant the body she was possessing. That she
Oh,
left
okay.
behind.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Hammered. Yes. So that's what you see, Potato, as Jelly stumbles up the stairs, covered.
Yeah,
or just.
I want
you
to take
grab a
one
bottle?
that's. I take one that's full because
And
it's
it's hit
important.
the ground too, so it's all shook up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to grab it by the neck
Yeah.
and like a combat knife, chuck it at the guy that's coming down from the ceiling.
Okay. Hey, is that shit on the blue? Give me add 4 dice. I'm gonna roll 3 just because I'm making it up at this point. So.
Oh.
Okay, no, this works. You chuck it, and it misses, and it hits the wall. And they look at you and go, "Ha ha!" And then the cork comes out and catches them right in the back of the mind. Dink! Oh. And they sit down real hard, and they kind of like they're trying to grab you, but you're all the way across the room.
That slow wiggly arm glide down the aisle, just calmly going down towards them. And as I'm going down there, I'm making a horror movie noise, like that creaking metal noise in horror movies. That shrill.
So the creaking metal noise as a
I want to make the lights flicker.
The lights flicker as a white sheet walks down the aisle of a destroyed church.
It's not a church, it's a hotel room.
Well, it's a church now because it's, they're
covered
having a
in
wedding
chains.
in here. And the organist looks over and doesn't even miss a beat and just starts in a really minor key. Dun 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 dun.
Can I add to this?
Yes, you can.
I die by electricity. Can I have like electricity dancing all over the chains?
Oh, absolutely you can. And as you get closer, the priest is like, "Be gone!" And as he reaches out, it arcs into his palm. And you and now there's a very buff priest doing this in front of you. And it looks like you're dancing because he's doing that and you're doing this.
And I'm doing this.
You're just, hey, singing a song that is not the same as the song that everybody else is singing.
So, yeah.
I don't know where else to go from
No,
here.
I was just going to say, people at this point are diving out windows. They're running out the doors. The sirens in the hallway have gotten so loud, it appears the police have actually driven into the building. It might be time to go. If you would each take a moment and think about this, how are you getting out of here? Anybody have an idea?
I do.
And 2 of you still have chaos pools, so go ahead.
Jelly, yeah, I might have
hammered.
to use some. Jelly, hammered with all this wine,
Yep.
having shaken it up
Yep.
pretty damn good, is going to face where the police are coming in.
Yep.
And with ghost magic, let all the corks pop
Absolutely.
towards the
You
ghost.
got them all, and you just flex and then just bang on your belly with all these bottles, and like a machine gun of alcohol powered corks, just and the cops are like, it's not hurting them, but they're like, ow, damn it, ow.
They'll get it in their eyes, and
they got champagne in their eyes, and there's corks, and a couple of bottles broke, and they're stepping on glass, and it's all over their riot shields, and they can't see.
Yeah, and then I skateboard out.
Okay, well, let's see how cool this gets. Roll whatever that was 2 4. Roll 14
I'm gonna
dice.
party hard to
Yeah,
get
I was
out.
just gonna say, give me when it asks you how many of yours, say 6, and how many party hard dice, say 8. Let's go. This is it. This is the big finisher. So 5 successes. You do that. And at the end, you drop all those empties, and you look around, and the little old guy says, "This one's special," and he rolls a Magnum across the floor to you, like the big bottle, and you put it against you and reach out and pop the cork because there's one cop left standing, and it hits him right in the forehead, ding, and he goes over. But much more importantly, on your skateboard, you are jet propelled by the champagne bottle out the other doors, out the front doors of the hotel, right past all the tourists, right past all the expensive cars, and right across the street into the mall parking lot, where you come to a fizzing stop.
Rad.
And there's a bunch of kids at the bus stops like, oh. Then the sun hits you and you die because you're a ghost. No, never mind. That's where we leave you with 100 new fans at the bus depot at the mall. Potato. Tell me how you get out of this. You are also getting a party hard, so.
I was thinking about this, but she's already knocked out all the cops.
Yep. So what's
There
next?
could be more.
There's still staff. There's still customers. People at this wedding. There's still.
I'm going to turn to, like, if there's any kids still in here, I'm going to turn to them and hand them the purse full of like destroyed cupcakes.
Yeah.
And like do a sweeping motion, like, have fun.
The little dude that saw you before just grabs it and just reaches in and just scoops out a handful because it's just like cupcake mass in there now. Like, there's no individual cupcakes. It's just like dough and everything all jammed together. And he just, and you can see the print that was already on his face is exactly the shape of his hand. He was doing this before. This is how he was eating them before. So, and the one next
My
to him
hopeful
tries to,
intention was them to start throwing, but yeah, that works.
well, see, the one next to him tries to grab some, and he just like elbows him in the chin, and in the process, now there's a big food fight going on. So, yeah, the kids now at the back of this party are having a food fight. Give me, do party hard.
During this distraction, I'm taking the wedding cake and taking pieces of it and setting it gently on each of the cops.
Okay.
And trying to get to the mall because there's probably going to be another one of those wacky arm guys out there at the mall.
Oh, yes, there is. Okay, so roll, do party hard. Give me 6 of yours and then 8. I don't care. They were supposed to disappear. I don't care. Have 8. Roll 14 dice for me. Let's see what happens. I heard 11 successes.
Damn.
Wow. So, I love doing this. In Potato's wildest dreams, how did this exit go? Talk us from the room to the mall parking lot across the street. This went perfectly. So exactly how you envisioned it.
Okay, in my head, I'm hearing like really cool background music.
Yep.
Like I don't know the name of the song. I hear it all the time. But there's like really cool guitar.
Yep.
I am walking through the wedding as all this cake is flying, missing me, and I'm carrying this huge wedding cake. I am in slow
motion. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I am slow mo
absolutely.
picking off pieces of the cake and even taking like the 2 people on top of the cake off and wedging them into cops' teeth.
Yes, you had. Yeah.
And like as I come around the corner, it's like the camera's at the end of the corner. I'm slow mo walking out of the hallway. Somehow there's sunglasses on my face.
There is
where
now.
those
Yep.
came from.
Yep.
And I just calmly walk out the door, look around, wobbly, see a tube guy
Across the street on top of
float
the mall.
over to him.
He's over
look
there
up and
waving
just
at you,
wink.
looking. Yeah, he's over there
I look
waving
at
at you,
the
looking
tube
sexy.
guy and just give a flirty wink as I keep going.
And he bows to you and comes back up on the roof of this. Yeah.
I got my cake.
The only thing you don't notice as you walk away with the remains of this cake is that you are leaving wedding cake footprints as you go. As you and at this point, Jelly start to discorporealize. I just made up a word. Discorporealize back into your ghostly forms, which leaves us in the remains of a party. His Right and Royal Sebastian Sebastian, rightful king and heir,
Well,
take us out. I don't even need a roll. Just take us out the way that a king would.
you see, royals don't rush anything.
No,
so
they don't.
Sebastian will calmly lean down and pick up his head from the destroyed groom's whatever, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
And he will place his hand, under his arm and kind of look towards the bride, look towards the necklace that was my wife's, kindly reach out and snap it off, put it in my pocket and reach out for the plate, or the platter of the little finger foods.
Yeah.
Kind of go place the platter before my face and spit out the finest of blood sausage before placing my head back on, turning around. I bid you adieu. And I'll just walk out like I own the place.
As you're walking out like you own the place, you hear behind you a tiny voice. You look kind of like my dad. And as you walk out into the sunlight, you fade away. And that, I think, is where we will drop the curtain on tonight. Oh, thank you guys. That was a blast. What a good time. Oh. Okay, back to business. It was fun. I gotta do back to business though. I gotta be all technically correct here at the end. This is, to be honest, my favorite part of the show. That was a blast, but now I get to talk to these people. Let's start with Vil. I mentioned at the start of the show, you and I first played together over 2 years ago. You were actually in the group I was in when I left to go to Mercs of Mischief. Why don't you first start by telling us where that group is right now?
That group, we play every Monday, and we are a group of DMs. It was just a project to get all DMs playing together, and we rotate. Generally play about maybe 6 to 8 weeks, and then we rotate DMs, but it's concurrent story. Very, very interesting. It's led to trying out a lot of things that you generally don't get to do in other groups, or that some groups just wouldn't be comfortable with. And it's a really great place to flex your creative muscles with that. I mean, if Kevin has some stories to tell, he could tell you some interesting ones from that group.
That's something that I can't tell. My serial killer monk. Yeah.
that was a fun time.
And what else are you doing social media wise?
Just recently, I've kind of gotten into streaming on Twitch. Right at the moment, I am actually playing a Pokemon Red, Fire Red randomized, where like all the Pokemon you can run into, all the Pokemon that the trainers have, all the gym leaders, all the items in the game, completely randomized. So that's really, really interesting. I
don't know if you can hear, there's a very high-pitched squeal coming from chat. Dax, I can imagine, is probably squealing in the ultrasonic range right now.
It's been something. It seems that one of the most interesting things that happened is it appears that rare candies have been replaced with Master Balls. So the multitude of legendaries that I've been running into and haven't been able to catch, that might change. So
nice. Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us today. I had a blast, and I hope you did too.
It's always a pleasure to get to play with you.
Oh, thank you. Robin. Oh, man. We get to do this psychologically soul-crushing stuff that we do on Thursdays in Ironsworn, and last night was no exception. In fact, it was par for the course. I think we did quite well for ourselves. But thank you for coming out and having some fun with us. So what do you fill in all the blanks? You have many blanks. So fill in a bunch of those for us.
I art all over the place. A lot of it is posted to my Twitter at Thunderscape7, and across the board I'm Thunderscape7 most places. It's also, I post a lot to different Discords like Dirty 20 Gaming and the Ironsworn one, as well as, Facebook and all that kind of stuff. I'm also the curator of our Ironsworn Games wiki, and keeping that up to date and keeping track of all of that information. So that's really fun. And I'm also a content contributor to the Scarred Adventurer blog. I have a poem up there right now, and I'm working on some pieces to put up there that is more art related.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And that leads us to our other new player today. I didn't mention this with Vil because he and I have played together before, but I am here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and the rest of you, that coming on this show and streaming when you've never met any of these people, playing a game you've never played before, takes a level of bravery that not everybody has. So Hellhound, first, thank you for coming and playing with us.
It was so much fun.
Oh, good. Second, I had a blast. And third, what do you do when you're not here?
Hi. Anywhere you go, like Twitter, YouTube, even Twitch, I am called Hellhounds20. I am an artist. I am a dungeon master most of the time. And on Wednesdays, I'm a player. I don't necessarily have a schedule except for Thursdays. I do a podcast with one of my old friends. We're taking a break next week because I desperately need one. Otherwise, I draw random artwork. Some for the Mercs of Mischief, some for just out of nowhere. Currently trying to figure out your dog.
Oh no!
Because I like you're saying terrier. What kind of terrier?
Just a scruffy little bugger. Just he was all 57 of the Heinz 57s. He was just it doesn't matter what he looks like. It doesn't matter.
So if I draw him with like a bit of a beard mustache look like some terriers have, it'll work.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only thing that he had that was very specific was he had one fang that came out from the bottom on the left hand side.
So he was quite literally a half orc.
He was, yes, he was a half orc dog. And what you're referring to, I guess I'll use this to jump to my stuff. We are going to be in 9 days from now, next Sunday, on your channel. I get to play a dog. We're going to do a version of Honey Heist, which I am calling Turkey Heist. We're going to be a bunch of dogs trying to steal the turkey dinner at the family party. And I love the chance to be a player. I have to DM all the time, so I am very happy to be a player, and I'm looking forward to that a lot. Watch the Discord and such. We'll be putting the links up for sure before that starts.
Yep. I am excited and nervous, especially since I believe it's Friday before it. I have to go to the dentist, so...
That's
so
okay.
Let's just add to the nerves here. Just
Honey Heist is easy. Just set it up and let us go. That should be all it takes.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
I am an artist. Sometimes I will very most likely be streaming artwork. Doesn't really matter what's gonna be. It's whatever the heck I feel like. I did draw the little potato that you see on the screen.
The ghost potato.
But yeah, that's me.
Wonderful.
I'm Hellhounds.
Thank you very much. And I am Kevin, and this is Dirty 20 Gaming, and we do Ironsworn here on Thursdays. We do this FunShot stuff on Fridays. In the new year, we're adding at least one show. I'm going to talk about the one show because it's confirmed. On Saturdays in the late afternoons, we're going to be doing a Scum and Villainy is the system. This is Space Pirates, and it's going to be, like you just saw, 2 hours at a time, every Saturday, sit in space. So that's the plan for the new year for that one. And we've got the crew all ready to go for that. And there's some other bunch of new stuff coming up after the new year as well. So, that was fun. I could tell it was fun because I'm exhausted. And I didn't hardly touch my coffee. That's amazing. That coffee got cold. You guys, you have no idea how rare that is. That's a big compliment. My coffee went cold while I played with you. Which leaves me the best bit. Tonight there's 5 thank yous. Vil, thank you for coming out of the past and coming to play with me. You're on the list now, buddy. You're not getting out of this anymore. You will be in more of these if I have anything to do with it. Thank you very much for coming to play with me.
Like I said, it's always a pleasure to go and play with you. I miss it on the Monday group. It was really, really fun being here.
Oh, thank you. Robin, I play with you a lot, and I never get bored because you always bring something new. So whether it's a a changeling with 9 different personality masks who isn't a changeling, but never mind. Whether it's a emotionally and physically scarred adventurer in the Bronze Age, or whether it's whatever you come up with on these Friday nights, it is a pleasure to game with you as always. And when we're not gaming, you are instrumental in me being remotely functional as a streamer. Your Ironsworn wiki work is beyond the pale. It is an encyclopedia that I use all the time to get us caught up, because I don't remember every week because I do all this other stuff. So
Happy to help.
I am eternally grateful. Thank you very much. And Hellhounds, oh, thank you again. People have no idea how brave it is doing what you just did. So thank you very much for working up that bravery and coming to do this with us. And a personal thank you for being a DM. There's not enough of us in the world, and every single one of us that can do it is helping to spread the joy. So thank you very much for all of that. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
And that leaves 2. Fine folks over in Twitch right now watching this live. We were in double digits at various points tonight. That's not a common thing around here, but that's really, really cool. Some of the people that showed up in the raid actually stayed, so we might be doing something right here. Oh, DM Stretch joined the Discord. Thank you. Wonderful. This is starting to do what I was hoping it would kind of do, which is grow organically. So thank you to all the viewers on Twitch. And in future, when you do see this on YouTube, thank you guys too. I appreciate it all. And until next time, please be nice to each other. Good night.
Stay safe.